Okay, 7:01, go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody. And I know there's people still in the lobby area, the vestibule, and so we'll let them come in and take their seats. So I want to welcome you to the Paulding County Republican Party Debate Forum this evening. We're really excited about this. So we're going to start out this evening with our coroner's debate, and then when we get through that, that'll take us through probably about 30 plus minutes, no more than 40 minutes, and then we'll take an intermission, and then we'll have the commission chairman candidates will change out the stage. But, what I wanted to do is just to sort of give you guys...
Can't hear you good.
You're saying you can't hear? I can hear you, though. Up in the belfry, we need more volume. So, what I wanted to do is, tonight is really intended for you as the voters and the citizens of Paulding County to have an opportunity to hear each of these candidates speak about issues that are important to each of you. And before we get started, I'd like to first acknowledge just a few people that have made this evening's proceedings possible. And first and foremost, I want to thank Chattahoochee Tech and their team for working with us as a party and allowing us to come here and meet. So I thank them for that. And then, those of you that don't really know me too much, and I should tell you I'm Craig McDowell, I apologize, I'm not very good at this. Nancy Hollingshed, I want to acknowledge her because I travel about 50% of the time for my job and to take care of my family, and so she does an awful lot of legwork on behalf of the party and everything, so I want to acknowledge the work that she does to set this up. And then I would really be remiss, because I'm very fortunate to have a very good executive committee and volunteers, and these are all volunteer positions, so nobody's getting paid for anything that they do to try and support these activities. And so, I know Rocky Swan is available. If he can sort of make himself visible, that'd be great. He's our first vice chair for the Paulding County Republican Party. Derek Carlson is our second vice chair for the party. Leanne Kapoor, who has held a lot of different positions, but is currently our corresponding secretary for the Paulding County Party. And Jude Okafor is our recording secretary. And then we have Chad Israel, and Chad, he brings the whole family into this volunteer program because his daughters, Hannah and Aaliyah, are timekeepers this evening, so we definitely appreciate all the work that they do for us. And then our assistant treasurer is Chris Collins, and so he's always there for us and making us all aware of everything that's going on. So I just acknowledge those people because without them, it's really difficult to do any of this work. So thank you very much. So just so you guys are aware that prior to this evening's proceedings, information, the rules of the debate, some sample questions were sent to the candidates so that they had an opportunity to prepare a little bit. Some people would say, why would you do that? Well, not everybody is a seasoned politician like, some of the people running for president. Anyways, but it's the first time they've probably been in front of an audience of this nature, or maybe for a really long time. And I want them to be able to present themselves in a way that does them proud and also gives you guys an opportunity to really hear what they have to say. So, each candidate is going to have 3 minutes to go through an opening statement to talk a little bit about why it is that they're running for the position that they're seeking. We've already determined their order, and Barbara will answer the questions first, and Lindsay will answer second each of the questions so that you get to hear each of their thoughts. We have put an ad in the Dallas New Era last week. There was an opportunity for the community to submit questions through yesterday at 5 o'clock, and those questions have been received and have been factored into the questions. I can't tell you that every question is going to be asked, only because for the sake of time, so we've tried to format questions that will enter into as much of that topic as possible to give each of you, hopefully to answer your questions. And then we also, as you can see, there's been an opportunity to submit some questions live that they have not seen, and that we will try to have, if we have a chance, we'll certainly ask those questions. But if not, I've asked you to put your contact information, because we'll compile each of those and give them to the candidates that are appropriate for all of the candidates, and then they can reach out to you and they can speak to you or to answer those questions for you. So, and then also, right now as we transition, I want to recognize, this is Larry Reynolds from Polk County, and he is a strong, long-time conservative and a friend of Paulding County, but he's also very neutral in this. So it's kind of funny. I've drug him into this, and I appreciate it. But I felt that was important for everybody to sense that, we want this to be a fair, balanced conversation, so that you guys feel like you're getting, we're not trying to take advantage of anybody. We want this to be a dialogue. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Larry, and we're going to get started. So thank you again for coming.
Good evening. My name is Larry Reynolds. I am from beautiful Rockmart, Georgia. And as Craig said, I've been in Paulding County, but I can tell you that I'm really blessed to have a lot of friends from Haralson County. With that, we will start with the incumbent for a 3-minute opening statement, please. Then we will go to questions from each candidate.
Hi, my name is Barbara Bellino Newsom. I am the current coroner for Paulding County. I have worked with the coroner's office this is my 9th year. Started as a deputy coroner 9 years ago. Have steadily gone up to being the lead deputy coroner. Then when Mr. Clark retired, I became the coroner. I am running for re-election because I love what I do, which is strange to most people. I have been in the medical field for 28 years. So I kind of have a medical background with medical diagnoses and medications. Also have worked as an EMT, so I had experience with pre-hospital scene before I became a deputy coroner. So I've kind of got the whole roundness of from beginning to end. I have lived in Paulding County for 25 years. Raised 4 children in Paulding County. Glad to be here. Will stay here forever. Moved my parents and my siblings to Paulding County, and I am here to just introduce myself and be glad for your vote, and want to stay on as the coroner for Paulding County, and continue serving the county.
I'm going to have to bring this thing down just a little bit because I'm short, so, but I guess this is the part we talked about building the wall or something like that, but I'm not going to do that tonight. My name is Lindsay Everard. I'm a lifelong resident of Paulding County. I've grown up here, you can probably tell by the accent. And I was raised just in this community. I went to school here. I was graduated East Paulding High School in 2004. Was raised in the back of a funeral home, so I have a lot of life experience with death. I've been around it all of my life, and from a young age I've learned how to deal with it. I've learned how to be compassionate, caring, and appropriate. That was something that was very much instilled in us, and the respect aspect of everything. As far as my education goes, when I graduated from high school, I went to the University of West Georgia, where I obtained a Bachelor of Arts degree in Spanish. I am bilingual, spent some time overseas learning those skills, and I used to teach Spanish for about a year before I left to go full-time with my parents. And I actually have a minor in criminology, so I'm skilled too in the investigative process, and took courses in criminal profiling and law and ethics and criminal justice and all those things as well. I also have a mortuary science degree from Jefferson State Community College. I'm a licensed funeral director and a licensed embalmer, and I currently manage a local funeral home in the county. And I'm just excited to be here with you. I've known Barbara for a long time. Probably around the time that she started, I was coming up at the funeral home a little bit, and me and her started seeing each other quite a bit on scenes. And not here tonight to say anything against her whatsoever. She's done a good job as a deputy. I just believe that we've got to get some fresh perspective in the coroner's office. There's some things we need to address. There's some things we need to do as we continue to grow. And I believe I'm the right person to do that. So that is my opening statement. I appreciate the opportunity to be here with you tonight. Thank you.
First question, if elected to be the next coroner of Paulding County, what would be the primary objective to make the office of coroner better that you believe doesn't exist today for that office?
Probably my primary goal is to move the coroner's office to the county. It is a county elected position. It needs to be located at a county facility. It needs to come out of the private the private sector. Somebody say that word for me. Sector, so that it's not affiliated with any funeral home in Paulding County. I've since been made the coroner of Paulding County, I have moved the office to the Paulding County Courthouse, where there's a permanent location and a permanent office for Paulding County. I mostly want the citizens of Paulding County to know that it's not affiliated with any funeral home, that they have the unbiased option to pick whichever funeral home they would like to use for their loved one when they become deceased, without feeling any pressure from anybody involved. My deputy coroners also have medical backgrounds. They are also not affiliated with any funeral home. Nobody works for a funeral home that's currently employed by the Paulding County Coroner's Office. And I mostly just think it needs to be two completely separate entities, that there's a funeral home aspect to, and then there's a coroner's office aspect in there. And they're not the same. They need to be separated. And that's my main goal, is that it be turned into a separate forum and its own entity in the county.
Do you want me just to give my response, or do you want to read the question again, or how's it work?
What?
Do you read the question again, or do you want me to just give my response?
Sorry about that. Go.
Okay, all right. I agree that the coroner's office needs to be kept separate from funeral homes as much as possible. Historically speaking, that has not been the case in this county. For a long time, the coroner's office was operated out of a local funeral home, and it was only recently moved to the coroner's office. I believe it needs to stay there. I believe it needs to stay at the courthouse in a neutral, objective location, and it needs to be part of a county system. It's a county office, and it is an elected position. And so I believe in that. However, I think also, you can't dispel the knowledge and the background that funeral directors and embalmers that are licensed have. They deal more so than anyone else that is deceased. And so they have a lot of knowledge and forefront. I think you can keep it separate and keep it ethical as long as you take the proper precautions. And I would say the accountability factor right now is something that we're working towards, but it's not all the way there. And that is something I would like to see happen. So that's basically what I would do. I would keep it at the courthouse as Barbara has transitioned it over there. That's exactly where it needs to be. We need to work together, and we need to make sure that we are unbiased and we are ethical in all of our interactions. In order to do that, I would have a separate list that I would provide to each family. There would be an alphabetical list of all local area funeral homes. It would not have names, managers, owners, any so much on it, but it would just be the information that they have. And basically, when you make your selection, let us know and step out of the equation. So that's what I would do, and I think that's important. Accountability and just knowing how to separate the two, like she said, but keep the county office separate, and that's not something that's been done until recently. So, thank you.
Please get the position, please. You get the honor of answering the second question first.
Oh, awesome. Okay, that's good.
Second question. Currently, Paulding County doesn't have a facility to take deceased patients for holding until an autopsy can be completed and released to an area funeral home for arrangements. As Paulding County's coroner, how would you address this need?
It is a definite need in the county. I was told this week that we have approximately 160,000 people in this county, and we're continuing to grow, and we need a facility. And it's not just a storage facility, it's a refrigerated storage facility. What is happening right now is the Georgia Bureau of Investigation is streamlining all the autopsies into that entity. So basically you're on a list, and when you call and they don't have room, it's, store the body and we'll get to it when we can. And that's a problem for Paulding County. We don't have that facility. I reached out to the director of nurses at Wellstar. She spoke with me at length about this. This is a concern that they have as well. They do have a cooler at the hospital, but that hospital is not set up for that situation. And they're not an option for us long term. So what we need to do is we need to reach out to the communities around us until we can get that facility, and we need to see what options are available to us, and I have done that. I have two options available to Paulding County at this moment. One of them is the Polk County Coroner's Office has offered to assist us. They have a facility in association with their Sheriff's Department, which is what I would like to see here. And they have said that they are willing to work with Paulding County until we can achieve that facility. The other facility is the Cobb County Medical Examiner's Office, who has also said that they are willing to work out an agreement with Paulding County to assist us until we can get that that storage facility. So we need to definitely work towards that. That is definitely something that the commissioners and the county needs to move toward. It's not a matter of, if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen. And we need to be prepared as much as we can. So I think we need to look outside and see what we can do in the meantime until that facility can be built and those funds made available to us. So, thank you.
And as for the storage of our current deceased in Paulding County, I've already had separate, two different conversations with the county commissioner's office. I've already spoke with the financial budgeting department with Paulding County. We're already in the process of finding permanent facility for the holding unit. I've talked to the sheriff. It's eventually going to be in the new jail is where they're wanting to have the new permanent facility, a holding unit. Until then, we are in the process of getting a vendor approval. We've already found a holding unit that we're going to be ordering and purchasing. Paulding County currently doesn't have a vendor. Everything has to be purchased through an approved vendor. So they're already in the process of getting the approval for a vendor to order that temporary holding unit until the new jail can have a permanent facility added into the new jail, which will be a secure location for all of the deceased of Paulding County. Currently, Cobb County ME's office is already holds our bodies, especially if it's in a criminal case or a homicide case. They already hold our bodies for us, and we've already had that set up for several years now. Currently, we have two out-of-county facilities that hold our bodies while we're waiting for tables at the medical examiner's office. We have transportation that, once we pick up a deceased, we take them to that storage unit, which is out of county, both in Cobb County, until the medical examiner is ready for that deceased, and then we transport them down there. So hopefully that approval will come pretty soon, and hopefully within the next 30 days we'll have that temporary unit available.
Thank you. Can you hold the seat? Get the honor of answering the third question. Is there anything that can be done by the coroner's office to improve the experience of a life-ending event for our loved ones and to help them to be comforted that the choices that they are making for their family are the best for them and the newly deceased?
Part of this is really hard for the coroner's office to do because coroners are not notified until after death. So we're not there, privy, or available to the dying before death. We don't get our call until after someone's already been found deceased. We don't have jurisdiction over any hospice patients or any patients that are currently in the care of a physician. We have jurisdiction over unattended deaths and accidental deaths, homicides, anything with that kind of injury. I think there needs to be just generalized county education, whether it comes from their primary doctor's office, from the local funeral homes on setting up, the family setting up pre-arrangements for who, before you're deceased, who you would like to use for your funeral home, what kind of arrangements you'd like to have, a traditional cremation. And I think that needs to be done with a county education, not necessarily directed from the coroner's office after you've received the call. It's kind of late for us at that point, but I think there needs to be education that maybe comes from the coroner's office for making these arrangements prior to that time.
I think it would be great if we had education, and I think it would be great if everybody pre-planned their funeral, but that don't happen because people don't think it's ever going to happen to them. And that's the situation when the coroner's on the scene. It's a bad day for somebody, and they weren't expecting this, and they don't know what's going on. So my answer to that question is that we need to improve our communication with the families. Just because you're the coroner doesn't mean that you can't talk to them. It doesn't mean that you can't not necessarily advise them on their situation and everything that they should do, but you need to make sure that they're in communication with you about what is going on with their loved one. And that is something that I have not seen very much of. And people are calling me saying, you know, why haven't you called me in 2 days? And I didn't even know the person passed away. And that's a problem. People need to know where their loved one's at. They need to know a timeline. They need to know what's going on. They need to know that, you know, we're all communicating with each other, that we're all working together for the common good of their loved one and their family. And so that's definitely something we can do to make the load a little bit easier, is providing that communication, being accessible, being approachable, and, you know, putting a kind face on this coroner's position and not making it something that people are afraid of or people don't know how to deal with. And, you know, it's an honor to be a coroner. It is a responsibility to be a coroner. It is something that not everyone can do. And it's something that we need to make sure that we wear with pride and that we really communicate that to families, that you don't have to be afraid of us, you don't have to be scared of us, you know, we're here to help you. And that is exactly what I would do in that situation.
Thank you. Third part. Number 4, please.
I keep forgetting the rules, I'm sorry.
Question number 4. Being the county coroner of any county visit and often sought after role, it would be easy for this needed work to be seen as a checklist type of position. Can you tell us what would make you the right candidate to be the county representative to work with our residents as they work through their loved one's life, ending of life planning?
You guys have some long questions. Okay, the first thing is that nobody should be a checklist. Okay, that is a person with a family. That is not a checklist operation. You have to assess what's going on. You have to be in touch with feelings. You have to be in touch with sensitivity issues. In my experience, you know, I deal with this every day with grief and bereavement, and sometimes the answer is just, you know, I cannot even imagine how this feels, but I'm going to help you all I can. And sometimes that's just good enough for everybody because you don't have all the answers. But what you can do is you can help people, and you can be detail oriented, you can be thorough in what you're doing, and you can answer their questions as much as you can, and you can keep that communication barrier intact. And I have experience in that. You know, people come to me on the worst day of their life, and, you know, I have to guide them and direct them through a process. It's very, very tedious and very intricate and very, very sensitive. And there's a lot of emotions, there's a lot of things that go on with that. And so I think that with that experience alone, I'm used to being put in some bad situations. I'm used to having to think on my feet. I'm used to having to keep records and being detail oriented and making sure my paperwork is perfect. And I'm used to being held accountable. I'm not up here because of my name. I'm not up here because of who my family is. I'm here because I'm Lindsay Everhart, and I worked hard. And I'm here because I want to be here for you. And I want to do this for you, and that's why I'm here. So I think I can bring that to the table. I think I can bring my knowledge, my background, my experience, and the fact that I've known most of you my entire life, and I do care about your families. So, so that's what I would bring to the table, and that's what I think is important. So, thank you.
deceased for many years. I've had several experiences of my own in my own family. And the time, it's a completely different notification of a death versus a planning for a death or a planning for a funeral. They're completely separate. It takes a very special, caring, compassionate to know that you've just notified somebody of a death, that it's the very raw, real feelings when you first get there. And sometimes it's just listening to them. Sometimes you just want to sit there with them. It takes time. You have to have the patience of notifying several different family members, and with the family makeups today, with there being a next of kin, and how, you know, some people want to be the next of kin. They're not necessarily the next of kin, but you have to be able to talk to everybody that's involved. It's whether they're the next of kin or not, it's their loved one. They love them. They want to make sure they're taken care of. You have to give them the assurance that, you know, that you've been there. I've been in their shoes. I've had unexpected deaths in my family. I've had, you know, terminal deaths in my family. And you have to be available and be compassionate with every aspect of notifying the family. And I feel that I have that aspect and enjoy doing it and enjoy being a part of the citizens of the county.
Thank you. That completes the acceptable submitted questions from the coroners. We'll now go to closing statement. In a sense, Ms. Molina Newsom opened first. We'll let Ms. Eberhardt close first.
Well, it's been a privilege to be here with you tonight and hopefully answer your questions and let you know a little bit about who we are. I appreciate Barbara for being here and being willing to do this tonight with me and to just come to you and talk to you. And I've grown up here. I've been a part of this community for all my life and worked hard here and know you guys. And I do have compassion for people. I think that's one of the things I'm known for in the community. There's some families even in this room right now that I have seen on some bad days, and they can probably testify to that. But what we need right now is we need to make sure that we have a fair and we have an ethical office, that we have accountability within that office, that we account for the needs that are going to be coming up in the future. And we look ahead. We don't look behind, we look ahead to what these needs in this county are going to be in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And we plan for that. And we need a new perspective. The old system's not going to work. Things are different today. And we need paperwork, we need communication, we need all sorts of things that we need to really work on right now. And so that's what I want to bring into Baldwin County a little bit more of. I want to bring some accountability. I want to make sure we have our paper trail. I want to make sure we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's and caring for the families, because that is the most important thing, is that they know that we care and that they know that we're thorough and that they know that we're doing all that we can to help them through a very, very difficult time. So,
Thank you.
And I'd also like to thank y'all for all coming out. It's a unique role to be the coroner of the county. It's a great privilege. It's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of maturity. You have all different aspects. You have all different cultures. You have all different religions and backgrounds that different people react differently. Different people have different beliefs on how their loved one they want taken care of, and you have to know all that. You have to be willing to mold each particular death around that particular family. And it's taken years of experience of going on call after call. I've probably gone on over 500 calls in my 9 years. And it's just a lot of time, a lot of learning, and being compassionate and caring for the families. I also agree that the county needs to be moving forward, which is what I've tried to do in my several months of being the interim coroner, of moving it out of, into the county office, to ordering our holding unit so that we can have our county residents stay in our county where they need to be, that there's a chain of custody, that there's a responsibility, and that we care for our living and our dying and the people that have to mourn them, and that we're all there and compassionate with them. And I feel I have that. I feel that my deputy coroners are very handpicked, that they also have the compassion and the medical background, that they also have the knowledge of having a medical background also. I would greatly appreciate your vote. I'd love to stay the county coroner, and I'd like to thank you all for being here.
Thank you. Let's all thank these ladies for offering to serve Paulding County. We're going to take a 10-minute break, and all of the chairman candidates, please come to the stage and meet with Chairman McDowell for further instruction, please. 10 minutes. Thank you.
right, he flew out. That's right. No wonder I didn't see nothing shiny up here. Like I looked for protection up on y'all. Yeah, it's dead. I see it's all shiny on here. My granddaughter. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Does it have like a big timer or anything? I got home, I had a doctor's appointment, so rushed home. Oh, wow. My goodness. Yeah. Getting better, I mean.
You guys staying out of trouble? Time will tell. I'll find out tomorrow. Yeah, we're going in the morning. Tomorrow.
How I knew it was not anything.
Hey guys. I sent her a text and said I had that December 13th. Was that the next day? It was fine. And they told me that all that same stuff too. But it didn't just pray she's going. Many of them. And I mean, I had a really good surgeon, and actually, no, I mean, he just, but his father did, the previous one. He picked me up from that. I made an appointment, went back in to see the surgeon. Previous years up.
Wear my mask like
Yeah. So, should be, yeah, you can't tell. They go in the front. Yeah, no, he didn't. I texted you.
I'm allergic to
Okay.
5 trees. You know, they all 5 in abundance.
So, yeah, should be able to.
It could be trees that are
Yeah, do you know, I think you know every part?
Don't say that.
Oh, okay.
I said, and everyone's sick, we have it.
So the chairman, you what? Time will tell. It's good seeing you. I'm going to run up here to Lay's room real quick before they start.
out all day. We haven't had time.
everybody. I think we're ready to get started with the commission chairman race here. If we can bring it all back together, get started, and those that are out in the reception area, they'll come back in. But how about, let's give Barbara and Lindsay another round of applause, because I thought they did a great job. That's not an easy conversation for any of us to have, and I really commend them for putting themselves up here tonight. So I want to turn it over. I want to thank Robbie and Roger, Virginia, and David for joining us tonight. This means quite a bit to me that they're willing to bring themselves out here tonight as well. So I'll turn it over to Larry, and we'll continue with the evening. So thank you.
A little larger group, a little bit different subject from corner duties. Candidates ready? First question. Same order as we did before. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the next question. Rotates in.
Introduction of the candidates.
Yeah. Just check and see if y'all paying attention.
Good evening, everyone. I picked the campaign slogan, Choose Opportunity, because I want to see Paulding County choose every opportunity that would be beneficial for our citizens, to consider every option that might strategically grow our county so that we can better provide the infrastructure that we need. I also want to see every asset that we have in the county developed to the maximum extent possible, like the Fannin Cooper Farm down here that needs to be showcased. I've taken opportunities educationally and militarily and through positions of leadership over my lifetime. I've got civil engineering degree from Vanderbilt University and played SEC football there. I've got a master's degree in aeronautical systems. I worked for Eastern Airlines for 10.5 years. I was in the Marine Corps and retired as a colonel in the Marine Corps. I worked with the Georgia DOT as a highway engineer out here on this highway, supervising it, and also the Bremen bypass. And then I went into the state's aviation department and managed that. I served as a Post 1 commissioner for 3 years, and I'm fully certified as a commissioner through the state of Georgia in the Carl Vinson Institute. These are the only reasons that I'm motivated to get in the race at all, because having lived here 36 years, I want to give back to Paulding County with the experiences that I've had and the leadership opportunities that I've had. One of the things I want to do to improve unity is to have a community visioning project where all the interested citizens come together and they describe and express their 25-year vision of what it would look like to live, work, and play in Paulding County. I think that would bring a lot of harmony to the county. It would bring buy-in. It would also set us on a master plan where we could follow that plan and tweak it as we go along. We would have all the citizens' input, so all the citizens of the county would be one big team. The other thing that I'm very excited about is economic development. Economic development to me is spelled J-O-B-S, jobs. In managing the state's flight department for 12 years, more than half of our passengers were economic development passengers and clients. And we would bring them in from everywhere. And when we would get a location in any of our 159 counties, we would celebrate that victory because we knew it brought jobs into the county. I would like into the state. I would like to do the same thing at the county, because I want to aggressively and proactively seek out companies in order to provide jobs so that our children and grandchildren can stay here and live, work, and play. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. I'm Virginia Galloway. I want to be your next commission chairman for Paulding County. I served as the former chairman of the Republican Party here for 6 years, from 2000 to 2006. And I tell you, one of the things that grieved me during that time was how little the citizens knew about who they were voting for. So I want to thank you for being here tonight. I think it's great that you've come out and that you're listening to each candidate to hear what we have to say. I have worked in public policy for the last 10 years. I've worked with conservative national organizations like Americans for Prosperity and Faith and Freedom Coalition. I have been down at the Capitol and I have been fighting for you, for your values, for lower taxes, for less government regulation, and more recently for your religious freedom. I'm not afraid of challenge. I'm not afraid of asking questions or getting questions. And I'm happy to discuss things with you. Right now, we have a county that's divided, and I don't like that. I see us dividing into north and south and east and west. I see us dividing into the old families who've always lived here against the new families who are coming in. And then certainly we've been divided over this airport issue, the airport and the anti-airport. But you know, we can disagree with each other without being disagreeable. We need to heal our county. We need to come back together. I'd much rather us be humbly grateful than grumbly hateful. So my website is votevirginia.net. My Facebook page is Vote Virginia, and I would ask for your vote tonight. I will work with you and I will work for you every day. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Roger Leggett. Been a lifelong resident here in the county. I'm 62 years old, just turned 62 last week. I've got a little praise to do tonight. I know this is unusual, but we just found out about 3 hours ago that my granddaughter is now cancer-free and they're going to be taking her off the cancer. I know a lot of people in the county have been lifting up prayers to her, and it's just a wonderful thing to have that feeling. But I have been from Paulding County all my life. I'm a resident, lifetime resident of the Nebo community. My wife Debbie and I raised 2 children. My son Chad that went to be with the Lord in 2011. My daughter Amanda is the mother of 3 children, and they're the reason I want to do this, along with you, because Paulding County can be a great county again. We've had the last several years, it's been a very divisive time. I've been from the north to the south, west to the east, east to the west, and back again. And everybody has the issue of the airport. Very few people that I have talked to have supported the airport. And they haven't been disagreeable about it, but it is an issue that's been so divisive. I want to bring this county back together where we talk civilly, be families again, and that hasn't happened in a long time. But I do appreciate your vote, and thank you very much.
My name's Robbie Dobson. I seem to be the only one up here that's not a politician, so I don't know if that's good or bad. I'd like to thank y'all all for coming here tonight, taking your time to hear us, hear what we have to say. I'd like to hear what you have to say too, because that's our job, is representing the people of this county. Something I think we have lacked in the past is representation in this county. I mean, I feel like whatever we've told people we've elected for office, we've got the opposite thing. And it just seems like it's a reoccurring thing that we have no representation. And that's what really got this country started. We didn't have no representation, so we had a revolt. I mean, you got to have representation. You got to remember who put you here. You know, what you're elected to do. You know, and I promise you, if I'm elected, I've been in business for 35 years here in this county. I'm a local business owner. I know what it is to run a business, and I know what it is to take care of employees and do budgets. and everything that's associated with it. And I got a real concern that this county needs to turn around and head in the right direction. Or our kids and grandkids are gonna pay an ultimate price for this stuff that's going on. We've got a lot of big projects going on in this county right now. And we need to really be vigilant and watch over these things. And I think that, you know, me being from a business background like I am, that I think that qualifies me to be the leader and try to help this county and work with the other commissioners. I mean, basically, I'm just one vote in this whole thing. You know, we have 4 other commissioners, and we're all supposed to be in touch with y'all. We're supposed to be, you know, doing what y'all want, not what we want. It's not our agenda, it's the people's agenda. You know, I'd like to thank my wife and family. I'm telling you, until you've ever done this, you don't know how much time and stuff it takes out of your life to do this. And without the support from your family, you'd be in bad trouble. And I can't tell you how much I care for them and love them. You know, me and my wife have 4 kids. We have 5 grandkids. And I'm really concerned about what the future of this county holds. And I'd like to get the county back together and unified again and move on and do the right things for this county. And I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Now we really will go into the question part. Knowing that the airport in Paulding County is a hot subject, how do you believe this county asset can be best used to benefit the residents of the county, help improve our economy, and to increase jobs?
I've been a private pilot, corporate pilot, commercial pilot, and military pilot for my career and have 19,000 hours of flight time. I would divide this up into a couple of questions. The part about the best asset for the residents. If you have a general aviation airport, it's more for private pilots that own their own airplanes. It can be for corporate pilots, business jets that come in. And if a business jet is located here, I think it's an important fact that a mid-sized business jet will bring in the same ad valorem tax as $75,000 to $200,000 homes. So if you can locate a corporate jet here, that's a tremendous asset. Need to understand also that cargo flights, if you have a FedEx operation come into our airport, that's also classified as general aviation. And a lot of people have a misunderstanding that that would not be the same size airplane as a commercial airplane. It absolutely would. That just is configured differently on the inside to carry boxes and things rather than to carry people. So for the general aviation, it wouldn't serve except people who own airplanes or people who are wealthy enough to own a corporate airplane or to fly in a corporate airplane. As far as the economy, so unless you we're going to do commercial aviation, you wouldn't, that clock's going fast, isn't it? You wouldn't have much opportunity to make anything for the residents. It would just be for the people that can afford it. But if you had commercial aviation at the airport, then it's going to go back into the coffers of the county, the taxation on the passengers, and then all the residents of the county would have a different revenue stream to bring dollars in to help our schools and to help our police department, our sheriff's office, our fire department, and all the other pressing needs that we have.
Boy, is an airport a hot topic. Without breaking the promises made to Paulding residents when the airport was built, we can make the airport a truly successful general aviation airport. Keeping the general aviation designation, the airport can fly charter flights, corporate jets, small private planes, deliveries, and more. More importantly, once we get the issue resolved, we can stop the internal war that is driving away business that would otherwise consider moving here. But let's help develop the airport's general aviation potential. That has proven to be a successful model for McCollum, Cartersville, PBK, and other small airfields around us. Meanwhile, Macon, which is located strategically near the center of Georgia and is serviced by major highways, recently stopped commercial service. In 2013, the Macon Airport got a nearly $2 million subsidy from the federal government for commercial passenger flights, which was discontinued with changing rules. That subsidy, paid from our federal tax dollars, worked out to more than $800 per passenger flown from that airport. No conservative can favor that. Federal money is not free money. I'm concerned that we have one person here that voted to give our airport away to an unelected body. I love airports. My grandfather was an airplane mechanic. He could diagnose an airplane problem over the phone. He was so good. But luckily, Paulding County has much to offer new and relocating businesses above and beyond the airport. We will work diligently with our Economic Development Director in Paulding and with my friend Chris Carr from the Georgia Department of Economic Development to attract existing companies and incubate new ones. It's not our job to create jobs, but to make an environment friendly to private sector job development.
A lot of folks don't know that they tout McCollum Airport. McCollum Airport, the first time they made profit was the year 2013. They were in the business beginning in the 60s, to my knowledge. That's a long time without profit, and that's one of the problems that we will face unless we get someone that knows how to operate a general aviation airport. We're in the process of paying a $3.6 million bond that the person or the company that got the contract that Mr. Carmichael was a part of, that they've reneged on that. And that's something that you as the taxpayers are going to have to pay that. For that reason alone, I'm against the airport. I don't think it will ever be a successful commercial airport, and it's going to take a lot of work and money to make it a civil aviation airport. Thank you.
I'm against the commercialization of the airport too. I keep hearing everybody say, well, this is going to create jobs. Well, the money we spend on this airport already, we could probably make 55 or 60 millionaires in this county if we could just give the money away. You know, there's no need to keep dumping money in something. I mean, you know, if I spend that kind of money, I create a whole lot more jobs than 3 we got now. So, you know, I think this airport is going to be a long-term thing. I don't think it's going to be an overnight magic success like Roger said. You know, it's nothing. We need to look at the people we invite in here and try to do something at this airport. We need to check their backgrounds. There's a lot of things we need to do. We don't need to just give our resources to this county away. You know, we've got the airport, we're going to have to deal with it. So, you know, we need to try to hire somebody, like you said, that can run the general aviation airport and be successful at it. And try, the best thing we can do is try to cut the cost as much as we can for the taxpayers. This is going to be a problem for a long time, is what I see in the future. And I don't know how to get around it. You know, it's a decision that should have never been made, but we're going to have to live with it. So we need to do the best that we can do, hire the best people we can get to try to help us get out of this and try to attract some aerospace industry people to come up there too. You know, Georgia exported more aerospace products last year than they did agricultural products. So there's some ways to help this work, but we've got to really be diligent with it and work with the other commissioners and try to do what we can do to make things right with this thing we shouldn't even be talking about. Thank you.
Thank you. Please. No. That completes, you will get a chance. That completes all responses from the commission candidates on question number 1. Question number 2. As published in the April 16th Dallas New Era newspaper, an article entitled "Litigation Staging Up Against Paulding Airport" We know that there are currently 3 lawsuits pending litigation, with the most recent lawsuit being filed by Paulding County itself for reimbursement of over $400,000 made by the county against Paulding Airport Authority and Silver Comet for the outstanding $3.6 million bond issue for expansion of the runway and other improvements. If elected, how does the county resolve this issue without taking the taxpayers to the furthest? If elected, how does this county resolve this issue without taking the taxpayers into further associated costs that takes away from other areas of need for the county? Examples: sewage, infrastructure, transportation improvements, etc. Ms. Galvin.
First of all, we all hate lawyers until we need one, don't we? It would be inappropriate for me to comment on what action will be taken regarding pending lawsuits involving county government and related entities. That said, it would be my goal to resolve all disputes with the airport as quickly and inexpensively as is reasonably possible, while ensuring legal and ethical compliance. This dispute has not only strained relationships within the Paulding community, it has cost money and it has hurt our reputation around the state. It is time to move beyond the airport commercial flight issue and govern the whole county. Residents have voiced their frustration to me as I've gone door to door. They feel that everything else has been at a standstill while the war wages. That's not entirely the case, but the energy and resources expended have surely been disproportionate to the benefits. Discussing sewer needs may not be riveting, but it must happen if commercial growth is going to come. Some places in the county don't have county water available even. Some road repair and expansion is needed now, not to mention future needs. Traffic is a major quality of life issue. Long commutes are too, and also contribute to unhealthy social issues. I'm seriously ready to put the airport issue behind us and move forward with other county business.
One of the problems coming into this office is all these lawsuits are something that we're going to have to deal with. And I'll deal with it with the other 4 commissioners. All 5 of us will be working together. But it's in the court system now. There's nothing we can legally do to change this until the courts rule in whatever favor that they're going to rule in. Our hands are tied. But what we can do is get this county back working again like it should be working as a county. We've been paralyzed by this airport issue in this county. Roads are not being built. Roads are not even being repaired. Their water is going dry. Their wells are useless when they're that way, and they don't have water that's available. That's a sad situation. A lot of folks are paying huge insurance costs because of these waters not being available in their areas. And they're, in a lot of ways, all it is a simple thing of connecting 2 lines. It's on one end of the road and then the other line is on the other end of the road. And these people can get water. But there are so many issues that are being ignored in this county. And we're going to start with issue number 1 and work our way through as a group, not fighting each other as our commission has been doing in the past. What are we going to do? We're going to do whatever the courts say we're going to do. But we're going to work together. Thank you.
Well, this isn't litigation, and we are going to have to wait till the courts decide. But I don't think we should back down from this. I think we should have the best lawyers we can get. We need to take this county back away from people that got it that we do not want them to have it. You know, the bottom line is you got to stand up for yourself sometimes. And I think that we need to settle this in court, but we need to do whatever it takes to get it settled. You know, and that means, you know, if we have to get some good lawyers, we have to spend money, I'm sorry, but we can't move on with this until we get it settled. And, we're gonna have problems, and we got stuff that we need to be spending this money on. I would love to spend all that money on the infrastructure in the county, but I didn't have that choice. I'm having to deal with what's here, and like I said, I think we need to carry on with these lawsuits and get this settled so we know from now on what's gonna happen, and we just need to be diligent with it and see what the court's come up with. But we're gonna have to settle this in court, and I see no way around it.
People really haven't been addressing the question, which had to do with the $400,000 payment. Actually, the question also didn't line up with the New Era article that was referenced. The New Era article said the Paulding commissioners recently asked Chuck Connerly to begin an effort to collect against Paulding Airport Authority in Silver Comet for the $401,000 bond payment. But it's not a lawsuit. The lawsuit has not been filed. There never has been a lawsuit filed on that particular issue. I keep thinking about Ronald Reagan's quote when he was talking about the Democrats discussing several issues, and he said, it's not that the liberals are ignorant, it's just so much of what they say just isn't so. And it grieves me a lot as somebody who's had an aviation career and seeing the jobs and the benefits and the wonderful trips you can take to go to Orlando or take your family on vacations, the memories, and yet airport in Paulding County is somehow a bad word. There have been so many misrepresentations, been just lies. A video put out last Labor Day that I spent most of the day Labor Day writing down the phrases. There were 50 statements in that video. Of the 50, there were 3 true statements. There were 14 false. There were 15 misrepresentations. There were 16 opinions, and there were 3 that was absolutely ludicrous, like an airplane flying into Tooele Elementary School. So there's so many people that have false ideas, because if you hear a false statement long enough, you'll begin to think it's true, and perception becomes reality.
Thank you. That completes question number 2. Question number 3. With the approval of the permit to move forward with construction of the Richland Creek Reservoir and completion for construction estimated in 2019. Once completed, is there any chance that the future management of the dam and its operation and maintenance could be awarded or transitioned to a third-party private entity similar to the manner in which the airport has been set up?
I certainly hope so, because what we're talking about here is giving it like the airport. That's been a disaster. Then we had at one time, we had a government authority that was called the Water Board, and it was always a problem because they didn't have anybody to answer to. What I believe we should do is hire someone that has experience in water. If we could join with Cobb Marietta Water Authority or some other water authority and find someone that could be a Paulding County employee, I would be for it. But I don't think I ever want it to be like it is with the airport now. A water authority just does not work. They don't have anybody to answer to, since they're a board on their own like the airport authority. I really think, I'm looking forward to seeing the opening of that reservoir. It's going to be a big benefit to Paulding County. We're going to be able to have a source of water for our kids and our grandkids that should never be a problem again. But we do need to bond with other counties like maybe Bartow County or some of the other counties to be able to have the support. If we were hit by a tornado or whatever on our filtration system, we still have to have some kind of backup, and we have to have a regional solution. Thank you.
The reservoir is estimated to be $215 million. That's a good bit of money in anybody's book. We need to do the best thing we can to manage this, and I was assured today, I've talked to a lot of people, that this whole project will come in on budget because we have a guaranteed price that it cannot exceed this. And it will be finished. That's one of my concerns, will be finished. And I'm not in favor, I think it's another one of our assets that Paulding County will have, and I'm not in favor of turning it over to somebody else, any kind of board or anything else like that. I think that the county can hire somebody that's qualified to look after this. You can go to them if you got a question, if you got a problem. You don't have to go around looking for another company to get an answer for this or that. I think it needs to be in-house, and I think it needs to be managed by the county and not by a board, because boards can, as you've seen what happens, they just get off and do whatever they want to with no retribution. They just, whatever they want to do, they don't have to answer to anybody. Whereas if the county still has control of it, at least the citizens, they have to answer to us, the citizens. So, no, I don't think that we should do anything with this reservoir to give it away or let somebody else take over or do anything. It's just too big of a deal for us, and we need our own water. And I think this is a good deal for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
I also think it's a great deal, and if you're really thirsty, you might start giving up your gold just to have a cup of water. There's always a chance. It's something that we continually need to review as leaders in the county. All options should always be considered by the Board of Commissioners as to what we will provide and how to get the best rates, the lowest cost for our citizens, opportunities for grants, sometimes a different financial arrangement makes you more eligible for those. As a conservative Republican, I lean toward less government control and more public-private partnerships situations. The third-party privatizing entity that's in the question, I'm from Chattanooga, and they have America Water there in my hometown, and they do an excellent job. It's a partnership there. But let's face it, in private business does a better job in managing resources and overall business practices than government does. Sometimes I wonder if it's all Republicans in here. I guess you don't have to be a Republican to come though. So part of the reason that is that it's void of politics. So you're not worried about whether you're going to get elected or reelected at the end of the term. So I'm all about smaller government. And if it makes sense, dollars and cents, to enter into a public-private partnership, then we owe it to the citizens of Paulding County to carefully study every option. You just say, no, I want the government to hang on to it, we got to take a hold of this. I just don't get that. So, anyone who just flat out says that, I think they're just a big government Democrat.
Thank you.
So, you lost me as soon as you said, similar to the manner in which the airport has been set up. Haven't we learned our lesson about jumping into private management of public resources with the airport situation? Let's get this reservoir built. Let's not be in any hurry to give it away. Consistent with my philosophy of government, there would need to be community and Board of Commissioner agreement and consensus that any such arrangement would be the most beneficial before we would even start to talk about doing anything of that nature. I'm okay with the concept of studying privatization of some services, but not without thorough vetting. Some local governments have experienced successful privatization of some services. On the other hand, I've heard what seem to be valid complaints about introducing the profit motive into things like jails and parole monitoring. So let's get our reservoir built so that we have adequate water supply for our immediate future needs. Then we may begin an open and public discussion of how best to manage it. But I'm in no hurry to give away another valuable county asset. And I'm excited to see how our Paulding County residents and visitors will enjoy the reservoir. I can't wait to go canoeing there with my grandchildren. My 5-year-old granddaughter, just about every time we get together, she says, "Can we row the boat?" So I'm ready to row the boat in Paulding County in our own reservoir.
Thank you. That concluded question number 3. Question number 4. Paulding County, the ongoing development of Lake Point Development and a sporting community located in Bartow County and within 5 miles of the northeast corner of Paulding County. They are showing with right partners and vision that if you build it, they will come approach to developing hundreds of jobs and versatile destination that caters to organized sports training, outdoor enthusiasts, and future business offshoots based on the overall development. Emerson, Georgia, 5 years ago at this location was only an interchange with not even a gas station for those passing on I-75. If you are elected as chairman of the Paulding County Board of Commissioners, what type of business development do you envision that will bring both entry-level and management-level jobs to the county?
Let me just say one thing. I may not be a Republican in some people's eyes, but I'm a Paulding County redneck, and I love this county, and I'll do whatever it takes to make things right in this county. As far as the Lake Point development, I think it's a great deal for Emerson and people that are putting money in it and doing it. As far as the impact on us, I don't see any local impact for a while, except for people maybe going to work from here that choose to go to Emerson to work until this thing builds out this way some. I mean, I can't see any hotels or restaurants or anything like that coming to Paulding County until this thing gets a little bigger and closer to us. So the big thing I see with it, and I'm glad they're doing it, I'm glad in private industry's doing it, you know. So I don't think the county has got any business trying to speculate on buying land and putting up movie theaters and stuff like that, you know, and that hasn't worked out really good for us either. So I think that we need to let private industry work on this, and I hope that, you know, that people from the county that choose not to drive to Atlanta or wherever can go up there and get jobs and do the things that they need to do with a better drive. You know, they're planning on widening 3rd Army Road, making it an access to 75. And I think once, you know, that development gets a lot closer, we can have things that we can start looking at around here. But I just don't see it in the near future. Thank you.
I don't know, things are developing real fast up there. I've talked to Representative Earl Earnhardt several times about the growth and the different phases, and they're moving into advanced phases. Since economic development, as I mentioned in opening, is one of the hallmarks of my campaign, I'm so excited about Lake Point and the overflow businesses that we can attract. And again, rather than sit back and wait for them to come to us, I want our economic development office and an economic development committee to reach out to them and recruit them to see if maybe they need lodging just across the Paulding County line. So a Comfort Inn, like they already have a Comfort Inn, but something could go in, several restaurants. We're sure going to get overflow, and there'll be highway improvement because of Lake Point. So I just think we ought to aggressively go after every opportunity we can, and I don't know what they all are right now, but I certainly have a team to research that so that we can be a part of it. Just 5 miles away from our Paulding County line, and we need to take every advantage of business opportunity, again, because our children, grandchildren can work there. There could be other developments, possibly there's certain types of corridors there in Paulding County that would be valuable to our economy.
Thank you.
I'm excited about the potential Paulding County has to benefit from the huge development of Lake Point. They are still in the process of building, and they will be doing that for the next 5 years, and people are coming now. The CEO of Lake Point, my friend Earl Earhart, who I've known and worked with a number of years, tells me that they expect 2 million visitors next year, and it will be larger than Disney World. There is no way that will not have an effect on this county. But we can benefit from their growth by offering support services and alternative attractions for non-sports enthusiasts. But we need to have a solid countywide economic development plan in addition to that. First, we will make Paulding County more friendly to business startups with a website that guides the entrepreneur through the red tape to start a small business, whether that person works at home, buys, leases, or builds space. Fees and other requirements will be included. On the south end of the county, we have a 6-lane connector planned to I-20 and ultimately the Port of Savannah. That may lend to some tasteful development in that area, like light manufacturing. Our Paulding County people are hardworking, good people, and they deserve good jobs. I have full confidence that I can help create the environment to attract those jobs. But we're going to keep it classy. We do not want hotels that rent by the hour.
Thank you.
I believe our comprehensive land use plan covers that 92 corridor from 381 to 92. It's in the process of being renewed. They renew it every 10 years. And if there's anything that would be possible in that area that would be covered during the comprehensive land use plan. We, being 5 miles or ever how you want to say 15 to 20 minutes away, Bartow County and Cobb County are going to fight for the same things we're talking about here, and they'll be a lot closer to it. That's going to be hard competition. It's not that I'm against it. If we can get hotels and heating establishments up there, that's great. But I don't want to do anything that would give them preferential treatment to anybody else. I think everyone should have the same ability to have a chance of a business. Whether it's the permitting department, whatever problem that they're having, I want us to go out of our way to help them. But I don't want to give anybody an advantage one over another. Highway 92 is what's really going to cause what's going to be the impact up there. Once it's 4-lane all the way to Highway 41, that's going to be the game changer. And until that happens, I don't see a whole lot happening in Paulding County. Maybe Earl's interested in a movie studio. Maybe he can put a few people up in there. Thank you.
Thank you. At this point, we have completed 4 questions answered by all the candidates. By our agreement, each candidate will have the opportunity to ask a question of their own of the other candidates. By drawing, Mr. Carmichael would be the first one to ask a question.
The question I would ask the candidates is if we are truly motivated to help all the citizens of Paulding County. Got 4 children. Some of them are better off economically than others. There are a lot of people in Paulding County that when they get their property tax bill, it's ouch, that's a lot. You know, there are also a lot of people in Paulding County that are used to their property tax bill, and that's fine. You don't have any problem with it. But without a full commitment to bringing in businesses and developing businesses and using every asset of the county, are we not shortchanging our citizens by not examining all the opportunities that we have? And in the descriptions that I hear you all talk about, it's limited and it's very government controlled. So my question is, why are we not helping our citizens in every possible growth advantage with businesses and companies coming in?
Ms. Gallagher, you start, please.
I'm glad you asked that question because I think that economic development is really important to this county. As I stated before, we would look at all kinds of ideas for growing our county and for making our county hospitable to jobs and industry, but it doesn't mean we have to have commercial flights. I think it's a little insulting to our county to act like the whole county hinges on whether or not we have commercial flights at the airport.
That seems to be the major point of what's going on with our taxpayers. They're footing the bill for what you're talking about. And a lot of them do not believe that it's in their best interest. 90% of them that I have talked to do not believe it's in their best interest. They think their money's being thrown away by supporting this commercial airport.
I'm a business owner, like I said to start with. I'm not in this business in no way. I think we should attract some businesses. We have 5 or 6 industrial parks in this county that we need to try to put some people in before we start building more industrial parks and doing this and that. I mean, there's places for in business and stuff, and there's places, not everybody in this county wants every inch of this county tore up and all the trees knocked down and asphalt and concrete all over. We need to keep some of this county so we can enjoy it. Now, people choose to live here because they don't have to deal with stuff like in Atlanta and places like that. That's why people come here. Y'all are the ones that need to make the decision, you know. It's not what if this airport had made everybody here rich, if you didn't want it, it shouldn't be here. And it's the same way with anything else we do. Y'all need to be making the decisions, and that's why we have to listen to y'all. You know, and that's what we want to do. We want to make this county what y'all want to make it, you know. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Leggett, your question for the other candidates.
My question for the other candidates is, how do you view the water situation in this county? I view it as being a problem. We have, like I said before, we have a lot of folks that their wells have run dry, they have no access to water. We've got a church that is in this county that is a foot washing Baptist church. They have to dump water from buckets into their well where they can have services. I think that's the biggest issue right now that we can address. And I'd like to know their position on it.
Could you ask your question as specifically as you can, please?
Yes. What is your position on the water situation in this county?
Thank you. Mr. Dodger.
I'll classify it as desperate. I mean, we have people that have no water. You know, when we get this new reservoir started, once it comes online, there's still going to be a lot of work we've got to do between now and then. Because if you know anything about water, all our water is coming from Cobb County. It starts out in bigger pipes, and they get smaller as they go down. Well, the reservoir is on the opposite side of the county as Cobb County is, so we're going to have a lot of water work to do to reverse this problem with the county. And we're going to, you know, there's people that, like you said, that don't have water on their roads. You know, there's no excuse for that nowadays. We've spent too much money on other things. Our infrastructure is desperately in need of work. You know, and there's no excuse in this day and time for nobody not having no water in this county. You know, it's ridiculous. It helps their insurance rates on their fire and everything else. So I would classify it as desperate. Thank you.
Thank you.
I certainly agree, nobody should be without water. It's precious, it's lifeblood. And we are doing something in the Richland Creek Reservoir. It's going to be 2019 until it's finished. Everything costs money. And if we agree to go to everybody's house that doesn't have water and pay for digging a well, my wife and I have a well, and they're expensive. You never know what it's going to cost and how deep you're going to have to go to get to water. Yes, everybody should have water, and if the taxpayers are willing to take a millage rate to be able to help people have water, I think the best way to get some things done like this, where people are just absolutely out of water, is for churches to get involved and use part of the gifts to the church in order to upgrade what the people have. And I know you're talking about things with a lot more infrastructure. And again, infrastructure costs money, so we just need to realize as leaders and as citizens that there's no easy road to go. And that's one more reason, I'll come back to it again. We have got to have economic development, aggressive economic development, where we're seeking it out, being proactive, and we get results. And we can celebrate because we've been bring business in here, because it might be able to provide somebody or a whole section of a neighborhood or something the distribution system that they need to get the water on.
Thank you.
The water situation here is not acceptable for people who are at the end of these roads. Again, it does cost money to do those things, but we need to make this a priority for our county. It will have to be paid for. We're going to have growth. We just need to make sure it's quality growth. That quality growth will pay for needed infrastructure improvements like water. So that is what I stand on. We need to make sure that we get the right kind of growth in here and that it doesn't hurt our quality of life. At the same time, there are real needs here in this county that have to be paid for.
Thank you. Your question, please.
I would like to hear from each one of the candidates if they're in favor of the local splosh tax that's coming back up for vote again.
So would you state it straight to them, please, exactly what you're asking?
Are you in favor of the splosh tax that's coming back up for vote again?
Which one?
The special, the splosh, the one for the road improvements and stuff like that.
Are you asking them if they support it?
Yeah, do you support it or not?
Very good, thank you.
100 times over, yes, we have got to have it. It's going to do the infrastructure on the roads just by that one extra penny that we pay for a retail purchase, along with the people that come from other counties and purchase things in Hiram or wherever in Paulding County. We get about 50% of the SPLOST revenue from out-of-county folks. So it's a great win. I just couldn't say enough about having to support it. Also, we've got to support the bond bill for the sheriff's office so that we can get a new jail. It's 16 years out of date, and if we don't rebuild that jail with county design, the state's going to come in and condemn it, and then it's going to cost twice, or it's going to, instead of $95 million, which is estimated now, it's going to cost $150 million. So that's not targeting the SPLOST money, but it's something that we've got to do.
Thank you.
I've seen a lot of SPLOST bills over the years, and the thing that concerns me about them is SPLOST stands for Special Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax. That means it should just be for certain special projects. We shouldn't use this as a continual thing to fund our government. When these SPLOST are put together, sometimes they throw in all kinds of weird projects. I mean, everything in the kitchen sink is in a SPOS because they're trying to get a certain group of people to vote for it. And we need to be very careful about that. I haven't studied the SPOS fully, but I will before I cast my vote.
I am in favor of the SPOS. That's how our fire departments are being funded as far as buying equipment, building fire stations. We need to build a fire station as we speak on 278 near the elementary school up there. That's a big area that has been left open and has a long response time. I do support it because it is buying our equipment for our patrol cars and all the related things that the sheriff's department uses for their equipment. So this is a good tax. I don't agree with all of them. I think they can be overdone, but this one coming up, I do support. Thank you.
Mr. Galloway.
My question is this: I've been careful as I campaign to make sure that I didn't offer any jobs, positions on board, pay raises, or anything of the kind for votes. Have you promised or discussed any employment or raises or board appointments that you would make if you were elected? Have you discussed that with anyone?
I have promised no one anything. There's rumors going around that I promised people that I would make them the county manager, all kind of different rumors going around like that. Those are not true. You've always got people asking you if you'll get them a job when you get in. That happens with everybody. But I've never promised anything to anybody.
Thank you.
Well, I guess I'm caught, because I did promise, I promised that I would do the best job I could do for the county, and I promise you that I still will do the best job I could do if I'm elected. Thank you.
The easy answer is no, and I haven't even had anybody ask me if I would appoint them in any job. It hadn't even been brought up to me.
Thank you. We're going to try to get 2 more questions in before the closing statements. And I will remind the candidates, even though you've got 2 minutes, you don't have to use it if you don't want to. So just before. Question, we'll go back to the rotation we started with. Mr. Carmichael, what is the main purpose of government?
The main purpose of government, to me, is to provide public safety and help to people in a community or a county that wouldn't get help without government help. So, one of the things that Ms. Galloway mentioned were that the government's not here to create jobs, and I certainly agree with that. That's the private sector, and that's people, that hardworking people like the people in this audience that have businesses and have ideas and creativity, and therefore they enlarge and grow, and then they hire folks. But the government does have many things that are needed to provide community recreation, community education like our library system, community safety, and there's a lot of other morale things like maybe somebody going over to touch a truck on Saturday or two of my grandchildren. That United County and all the recreational parks that we enjoy. There's a new one up out at Union. So those are very important, but I would say the main thing is for protection and public safety.
Thank you.
You know what I said about And government's kind of the same way. You don't like it until you need it. But government has grown too big and too powerful in our lives, especially at the federal level, but even at the state level and sometimes at the county and local level. So government should provide a stable environment so that citizens can thrive. It's not your nanny. It's not your provider of everything you need. But there are certain basic services that government should provide. Indeed, public safety is one of those things that government can do better as an entity than we could do as individuals, like providing sewer and water and that kind of thing. That's fine for government to do. But we need to be awfully careful that we don't give government too large of a role.
Thank you.
Government is essential, but in my opinion, government should be done as our Constitution says it should be done, and not have courts and other people that are in our government decide what they think the Constitution says. We do have a government for reasons, and it is to provide for the security of this country and for its citizens, and that's the way it should be. But our government has gotten out of control. The people in our government think it's all about them. It's not. It's supposed to be about all of us. Thank you.
Government is supposed to be for the people and by the people. And that's something that, we need to get back to. And it is designed, the government's designed for our security of our nation. I think we need that. We need the law enforcement and stuff that the government does well. There's some things the government does well, and there's some things they don't do well. And, we need to stick with the basics that they do well, and they're designed to protect us, and, things like that, and uphold our laws, and the laws of the Constitution of the United States, and I fully believe in the Constitution. And I think that's what we need to be governed by. So the government is, it should be a leadership role, but a limited role. Thank you.
Thank you. Last question before closing. Question, being the commission chairman is more than getting along with people, but includes the need to present a balanced budget on an annual basis for the operation and future growth and security of the county when the next recession type events arrive in Georgia and or the country. How will you manage our emergency fund and avoid assessing the funds for balancing your annual budget to avert state oversight? Ms. Galloway.
As a homeschool mom, I've been balancing budgets for a long time. I homeschooled all my children 1st through 12th grade, so we lived on one income. And I found out the most simple thing that seems so basic, but yet our government has not gone by this, and that is you can't spend more than you bring in.
That's right.
I find it troubling that our county government has dipped into our emergency fund for several years in a row now to balance the budget. You either increase revenues, which is what I plan to do, or you cut costs, which is also what I plan to do. We need to do both.
Being on the Board of Commissioners for 7 years, it's required that you balance your budget. During those 7 years, we balanced the budget, either maintained the millage rate or dropped the millage rate in each of those 7 years. In the same time, we increased the emergency funds up to the top limit. They don't want you, the state doesn't want you to go over a certain amount beyond what you have budgeted and by what you have that is required. And we did that. We did that without tax increases. We did that while being able to provide services. We paved more roads during those 7 years than we had paved in many years before that time. We provided more water. We stopped. Some of you were here there at that time, we had water shortages in the end of the county, in the Yorkville area, in the Union area, and in the New Georgia area, that at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, they wouldn't have water. And we stopped that. And we did all of that without getting into the emergency fund and with a balanced budget. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, again, being in business for 35 plus years, I know what a budget is. I've had many of them. I never had the option of having money just brought to me that I had to spend. I had to work to make the money that I spent. So I come from a little bit different background. I was used to making money instead of just spending money. So, you know, there's always ways to go, but you can trim money down. I mean, I think we need to keep a tight budget. We need to trim stuff where we can trim it. Try to raise our revenue, you know, is another way. But, you know, the county has to be physically responsible for stuff, to look after your, you know, your property owners and stuff like that. Because when we sell bonds, they call it selling a bond, all they're doing is borrowing money against the property value, the taxable property value of your property, you know, when we're borrowing all this money. So, you know, we really have to be careful and watch the things that we do in this county and just make sure that goes right, that we don't go over budget on stuff, that we trim stuff where we can, and just be responsible. And, you know, being a business owner like I have, I think I have that ability to do that. Thank you.
The county policy on the emergency fund or the general fund must be 25% of the overall budget, and also policy is that it can only be used with approval of the Board of Commissioners for capital expenditures. The fund has increased over the last 6 years from $19 million to $45 million. And our credit rating has increased twice because of the good management that the Board of Commissioners has used, and through the department heads, very careful information and making the county commissioners aware if there was anything that might cause us to dip into that. There's also a misunderstanding, since fiscal year starts on July 1st and taxes don't start coming in until the fall, that when you use money during that period to finish out your budget needs in all the different departments, that you're dipping into the emergency fund. That's just a misunderstanding. So the fund is healthy at this time, and I would applaud all the commissioners for that work and for that being that careful.
Thank you. That concludes the last question that will be asked. We will now go into closing statements. Everything was done to assure fairness on a drawing type arrangement. The candidates agreed that the closing would be the reverse of the opening. So, Mr. Dawson, your 2-minute closing statement, please.
I'd like to ask that you consider me for the chairman job, because of the extensive background I have in business and stuff. We've got a lot of exciting things happening around this county. The state started working on NAMI too. You know, do you realize that the state has not widened the road in 20 years around here? And that's Charles Hardy Parkway, the last road that was widened by the state. So there's a lot of exciting things going to start happening around here. You'll probably see more construction work in the next 5 years than you have in the past 20. And we really need to watch over this stuff, you know, and partner with the state. There's some stuff that we can't do without the state. You know, their roads they control. We've got 2 bridges on Dallas Ackworth Highway that are over 75 years old. and they've got to be replaced, and they will. It's upcoming next 5 years, they're looking to replace them. You know, I love this county. I'd like to keep it like it was when I was a kid, but it ain't gonna happen. You know, I enjoyed growing up around here. I'd like to see some businesses come in, but I'd like to see some businesses come in that we want in here, not just anybody and everybody that comes along with a carrot down in front of us. You know, we need to be very careful who we let in the county and be very particular about the stuff that we do, because our future is involved in this. You know, to me, this is a loving community. I mean, I grew up here, went to school here, graduated high school here. You know, I just love this county, and I will do my best to work the hardest I can for you if I let you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for coming tonight. You know, this place should be completely packed, folks. There should not be an empty seat. There should be people standing around the walls, because it affects this county. I've been in public service in this county for 30 years, 23 with the fire department, 7 with the commission office, and I served my public safety started at the Dallas Police Department and then to the Paulding County Sheriff's Department. I love this county also. I've seen it change in many, many ways. Most of the good, some weren't. But we need someone that can work with these other 4 commissioners in this county and change the attitude to a positive attitude about our county. There's so many ways that we can attract industry in these 4 or 5 industrial parks we got that are sitting in. That's what we need to work for. We need jobs for people in those parks. We can talk community development all we want to, but until we start somewhere, which we have not been done at this point, then that's all it is, just talk. But we all love this county. This is a huge county. The people that are on the west side, they love the way they live. They have huge houses, huge property, and that's what they've done for generations, and they should be able to. We've got vast developments that have a great amount of houses in it. These people come and live in those developments because that's where they want to live, and they should be able to. But we don't need to be fighting each other. We need to bring the county together and make Paulding County better. Thank you.
Thank you for your attention and for being responsible voters. You showed that by being here. You've heard from all the candidates. I just want to say that leadership matters. I have had plenty of opportunities to lead. I love doing that. I love and respect the people that I work for and with, and I will do the same for you. Some of my friends, when I told them I was running, said, "You're too honest to be a politician." Because they know, if you ask me a question, I will answer it honestly, even if I know we disagree on the answer. Because that is what I do. I have respect for you. I will respect the citizens. I will respect the county employees, and I will respect my fellow elected officials. And that is what I promised to you. 23 years ago, we chose to move to Paulding County, and we love it here. I would ask you to vote Virginia, and we'll continue to make this county a great place for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
This never happens at home, getting the last word. I've enjoyed being with you all, and I also recognize you as concerned, interested citizens taking the time to be here. My wife, Mary Lou, and I moved here 37 years ago with 2 children, had 2 more, and we raised all 4 children here in the county. And it's home, too. We love it also. We've stayed 36 years. I also have 10 grandchildren, 1 more on the way. Online, somebody was criticizing me for talking about my grandchildren. And whoever it was, you're just going to keep criticizing because I'm going to keep talking about my grandchildren. And I'm not just talking about Dave Carmichael's grandchildren. I'm talking about your children and grandchildren that I want better things for. Don't we all want better things for them? I don't want them to have to be part of the 80% of people that have to leave the county to go to work. And I know it's never going to be 0%. It's just going to shift, but it's what it is now is unacceptable. I don't want them to be a part of the homeowners that have to shoulder 75.73% of the tax budget, the revenue that we have. It's the highest in any county in the Atlanta area, and it's not what we want to be the highest in. So we got to change these things, and I see that the biggest issue is that we try to grow our county in a healthy way. I'm the only candidate on stage that has any civil engineering, highway, bridge, traffic control, infrastructure development experience. I'm the only candidate on stage that has any Office of Economic Development ties and training and observation as to how we can get companies and jobs in here. And I'm the only person on the stage, definitely, that has any aviation experience for whatever happens at the airport, to be able to know the options and know, things that will truly help the county. And if the county's against commercialization of the airport, I represent the county, and I'll go along with that. Whatever the courts say, I'll go along with that.
Thank you. Thank you. Chairman McDowell is going to make a couple of comments, but I ask you first to thank all of these candidates for offering to serve in this very important position.
That was a pretty good night, you guys, and I don't disagree with the words that were said. It's a shame there weren't more people standing in here this evening and everything. I want to commend everybody up on the stage, Robbie, Roger, Virginia, and David. Clearly they have differences of opinions, but they were willing to be here tonight, and I commend them for that, and I thank them for that. So thank you. So everybody have a safe ride home, and if there are a few questions remaining that I had told them prior to coming on the stage that I will forward to them if they weren't asked, and they'll either be able, if there's contact information on the question, they'll be able to reach out to those individuals, or they can address them on their website or whatever the case may be, however they choose to do it. But those questions, because of the sake of time, they will be shared over to them as well. So thank you very much and have a safe ride home.